Have any of you guys or girls ever felt that you are constantly battling price shoppers who just don't understand the difference between quality craftsmanship and the cheapest or lowest bid? Well, I'm here to tell you that you are not alone. I have also experienced that and still experience that. And today's podcast, I'm going to dive into this challenge that I feel that nearly every contractor has faced, and that's attracting the wrong clients. Um, those focus solely on price and not the value that we offer. I'm also going to share some strategies that I've used to shift away from these bargain hunters and align my business with clients who truly appreciate the expertise and the quality that I bring to the table. So if you're interested in hearing that discussion, stay tuned. Another thing that I want to touch on is December 17th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nick and myself are hosting a live lead generation and marketing workshop, Q&A designed specifically for contractors. We're going to be hopping on there, answering all your questions and providing some strategies that we've used to attract a better client base, build a consistent or a more consistent work pipeline, and just overall elevate your brand through adequate marketing, proper lead generation online and offline. Again, Q&A as well. So we're trying to provide an open forum there that you can ask the questions and we can speak to some of our experience there. You do have to pre-register for that. You can do that on the website. Also, if you just go to our Instagram page, which is Modern Craftsman Pod, there are highlights now. There's a free highlight template or a free highlight button, courses button, webinars button. You can click on any of them, get all of our templates. You can register for the webinar. You can also access the courses. So we have the pre-construction course. Thank you to everyone who has purchased that. The feedback has been great on that. I know a handful of people have told us that they are already integrating that and making money right off the bat with that. The painting and products course that I put out, which is basically any interior products that I use that are off the shelf that you can go to your local stores, box stores, painting suppliers, and get to guarantee a quality paint job, a quality prep job, basically a cheat sheet, all the products that I use, how, why, when I use them. And we have another course that we are going to be dropping next week. Actually, it may be dropping by the time you hear this. We'll keep that a secret for now. So that's all the news that I have. Again, hop on the website, subscribe for the newsletter. All this information, the first place you're going to hear it is going to be the newsletter. All the links are there. All the click-throughs are there. And then again, if you have any more questions, you can hop on Modern Craftsman Pod. You can shoot us a DM through there. All of the highlight buttons are up there. Our free templates, our courses, our webinar registration, all that stuff. And then worst case, if you still are having trouble, you can't find it, you can shoot me an email, tyler@trghomeconcepts.com, and I will get you sorted out. How to transition away from bargain hunters. So the catalyst for this podcast, I had somebody who I grew up with reach out to me and say, hey, I referred you for a project. It happens a lot. Super grateful for that. Just said, thanks, appreciate it. I know that a lot of times nothing comes from this. I don't anticipate or expect anything to. I always appreciate people giving my name out. And then at that point, I'm like, I'll do the screening. I'll do the vetting. I'll understand if they're a fit. Definitely throw my name in the mix. I've learned over the years that on the back end, I need to manage that lead intake to ensure that they're a decent fit, even if it is a referral. So it was just thanks, appreciate it. And then they decided to fill me in on some information about where the house is, because it's the town I grew up in, who the client was, what the project consisted of. And right off the bat, everything, it checked every box for me. It was good, right? It's a referral from someone I know. They had a designer. They live in one of the towns that I typically work in. And it was the project scoped aligned with what I do. So I was like, yeah, everything checks out. And then there was a follow-up, hey, tried to tag you in the post. I couldn't, but here's a screenshot of it. And it was a screenshot of what the client's post was about. Hey, here's our project. We have a designer, and then led into, we've gotten a couple of prices and we're having a bit of sticker shock. Does anyone have any other recommendations? So at this point, I was like, red flags going up. If they get a hold of me at this point, I understand why they're reaching out. They know nothing about me, nothing about what I do. They're at this point, the job's more than what they anticipate. So they're looking for somebody to do it for less. Maybe I am less, maybe I'm not, but is my energy and my time, is it appropriate to spend my time on this client who has no idea who I am, what I do? In my early days, I would have really jumped at the opportunity to chase this lead. Right? It's in an ideal town. It's potential to work for this client more. But I also understand that this house was just flipped. So a lot of the work is new. A lot of the work's been renovated. Is there room for more work to come from this? So I have to weigh all of this out, right? Maybe I'm not working in their house, but maybe their customer or their neighbors see me. So I have to weigh, like, how much effort do I want to put into this? But with the red flags of, hey, we've gotten too pricing. This, essentially to me, that's just screaming that they're looking for somebody to do it for less. So at that point, I just tell myself, like, I'll be careful entertaining this lead. I have to make sure that I protect myself. I don't waste a lot of time. I let this client self-qualify, and I'm not necessarily the one who's turning them down or shooting them down, because people tend to not like that, no matter how kind you are. Sometimes it just creates some issues there. So I prefer to have a vetting process that allows potential leads to self-qualify. So I'm not the one who's telling them, hey, you're not a fit for me. So again, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the referrals. I appreciate this person sending them along. I think the bigger picture and where this podcast came from was I started thinking, like, it's still so frustrating for me, not just for me personally, but the industry as a whole, right? Where I am very vocal about being a value-based contractor. I've created a ton of content. I've created a career around this. I've coached people on this. I have a podcast on this. I work with partners. Everything about me and what I do is 100% against the type of work and the process by which this client is going about looking to hire a contractor. Like, I've spent the better part of 10 years trying to educate my consumers and educate other contractors and clients, and to shape and change as much of the industry that I can impact through my platform, that this is not the way to go about this. And I still have clients and people referring me for this exact process. So I started thinking, like, if I still deal with this, if this is still a struggle for me, how bad is it for everyone else, right? If I have a decent sized platform within our industry, and that's not being conceited. I know that what most people do, and most contractors that I know, that I grew up with, that I've been around, they don't have the platform that I have through social media, through the podcast, through my partnerships, everything else, to be able to speak to this and to be able to educate people to this. So I really have owned that. And that's been a huge driving factor in everything that I've done and all the content that I've created over the years. And I still have people that I know that I grew up with from in the towns that I work, who come to me and they want that, or they refer me for everything that I do not stand for, everything that I have educated people against over the years. I still have people that are just completely oblivious to the fact that not everyone in our industry is created equal. That's not saying that anyone's better, anyone's worse, this is good, this is bad. It's just that people make a living, and people run different types of businesses. It's the same as restaurants, it's the same as hotels, it's the same as any service-based business or industry. There's levels, there's needs, there's specialization. Everyone is different. Everyone offers unique skills, everyone offers a unique price point. And what I have pitched over the years, I think initially what I pitched a lot more was that what I do is the best option for people. And I've realized through maturing and through experience and building confidence in myself and in my business that it's not better or worse. It's just different. What I do isn't better than what somebody else does, and what somebody else does isn't better than what I do. There's a client for every model. It's not better or worse. It's just finding the fit. And for me, in this situation, the referral is not helping the client find the fit, and the client's program and what they communicated to with their designer, with the potential contractors that they interviewed, obviously was not accurate. They weren't open with them. They weren't honest with them. If they would have gone about this and said, "Hey, like this is what's really important to us with the space. This is what our needs are. This is, what we're thinking as far as what we want to spend." And they communicated that better, and they understood what their needs were and what they valued most, they wouldn't be in the position that they are. Um, so I just got like not frustrated, but it just got me thinking that if I'm experiencing this after how much effort I put into trying to combat this in my own life and for other people and educate the general public, as many people that I can physically and metaphorically like reach, how bad is it for everyone else? How difficult is it? How much are they dealing with this? How many people are wasting their time? How many clients are just wasting their time with contractors because they're just, they don't understand that this is not how you go about hiring somebody. So the goal for me in this podcast is to just give you some information, some insight, some actionable takeaways that I implemented into my business that helped me get away from that. And it obviously you are not going to absolve yourself of this 100%. It's impossible. The goal for me was almost self-educating and getting a better understanding of who my client was, how to get in front of those clients, how to vet those clients, just to preserve my time and preserve my sanity, and to be able to charge more of a premium based rate working for clients who wanted what I did. Um, and obviously, if you've followed me for any amount of time, this is my bread and butter. This is something that I stand for. This is something that's very important to me. And a lot of this was bred out of the frustration of feeling that I was just being used for a price. I was just being used for ideas. I was just, hey, there's sticker shock. We want a couple more prices to see if this is what we really need to pay or if we're not going to do this. Or maybe we can get somebody to squeak in for lower and save some money. All of this was bred from that and just being frustrated and being disappointed in just the state of our industry. And again, this is not the client's fault. It's not the contractor's fault. It's not the person who referred me's fault. It's just the state of our industry and people not understanding that not everyone's created equal, that everyone offers something unique to them, whether it is their price point, whether it's their quality, whether it's their communication, whether it's their sub base, that everyone offers something different. Everyone has a different price point. Every project is different. If you get 5 people and you hand them a completely cooked design and you asked, hey, build this, every single person's going to build that differently, whether it is the products that they use, whether it is their assembly techniques, whether it's their communication, their management. No matter how big or small that project is, it's going to be different. So there's better ways to go about this for clients. There's better ways to pitch this for contractors. There's better ways to help refer when you're just an average person looking to help somebody out. So again, there's no, I appreciate all the referrals. I appreciate everyone um speaking so highly of me and wanting to refer me and looking out for me. uh this is more so in a sense of thinking like, how bad is it for everyone else? So let's dive into some of these things that I've done over the years that have helped me get away from this as much as possible. So the first one is going to be rebrand. I did this right after we had Selby, maybe right before we had Selby, right around that time. Selby's 11 now. So I've been in business 14, almost 15 years, and Selby's 11. So 3, 4 years into business, I realized, hey, I'm not targeting my ideal client. I'm not working for the people I want to. I'm struggling with just spending a lot of time. So I started rebranding my business, and obviously, it started with a bit of ignorance and with just being, you know, less than 30 years old, and trying to understand the business aspect of things while still learning the tools as well. Um, but the branding initially was just about the logo, the graphics. And I realized later on that it's so much more than that, right? It's everything, all of your marketing. It is what your business stands for, your ethos, your value proposition, everything that represents your business from a mindset as well as an aesthetic. For me, it just started with the aesthetic, right? It was like, look good, feel good. I needed a more professional logo. I needed a lettered truck. I needed better graphics, templates, letterhead, all of that, because I wanted to be able to serve a higher end client, and I couldn't do that with the lack of professionalism that I had at that point. It wasn't even like a complete rebrand. It was, I changed the colors. Again, I got my truck lettered. I got the website going. Little things that I either fine tuned. I hired somebody to fine tune, or we changed. Just, it started aesthetically, and then I realized that the brand is not just an aesthetic, right? It is all the touch points of your business, of your marketing, of your process. It's everything. So yeah, there's an aesthetic component to that, and like, that's somewhat the like heartbeat of your brand. But the goal is, with that aesthetic logo, or the physical look of your brand, when they see that, that translates to this idea of your brand and everything behind it. And I learned that later on, and that organically ended up integrating into my rebrand, but that wasn't the initial purpose. The initial purpose was just, hey, I want to look more professional. Um, Not fake it till you make it, but like, I always told people, once I did redo that, it was like, I didn't even feel that my work had to line up as much as just like how looking professional got your foot in the door and created the opportunities. At that point, the longevity of your business and the success and the health of your business came from living up to the hype, and executing as you promised, but getting your foot in the door through just the aesthetics of your brand, and looking professional, and having everyone on the team wearing t-shirts and looking clean, showing up in a letter truck. That did so much for my business, and it carried over to the rest of the brand, and it helped me really develop an encompassing brand that was not just my hammer and the raise and the circle of my logo, right? It was more, it was about like, hey, when you think of TRG, what comes to mind? Even the words, the quality, efficiency, value. Initially, that was all like part of this aesthetic image of my brand, but I've realized like how much more it is than that. And like, my brand is part of this podcast, and what I'm speaking about is part of my brand, and understanding that everyone's different, and bringing value to the table rather than offering a competitive advantage. So a rebrand is a huge actionable item that you can do for your business, that you can start small. It can be just an aesthetic. I'm going to get a logo made, then I'm going to move that to a website, and then all of, it carries over. But just ensure that when you begin to do that, you understand what the big picture is, and you're not just focusing on the aesthetic elements and colors of your brand. It is much more than that. I have some very exciting news for all of you. The Contractor Coalition Summit is hosting a meetup at IBS and KIBS. So that's going to be Monday, February 24th, 2025. I know we're already into 2025. It's crazy. 6 to 8 p.m. It's at the Nomad at Park MGM, Las Vegas. So this is not a summit. This is not a conference. Honestly, this is just going to be a bunch of people hanging out, open bar, food, and all the drinks that you can enjoy. And you'll have extra because I don't drink, so you can have my drinks. Early bird pricing is live. There will be no tickets at the door. So if you want to go to this, you have to buy them beforehand. I'm posting a link to it on this post. Hop on there now. You're not going to want to miss out on this. Again, no tickets at the door. February 24th. 6 to 8 p.m. Nomad, Las Vegas, which is at the Park MGM. I'll be there. Nick will be there. Brad will be there. Morgan will be there. And a lot of other people. So come check it out. Open bar, food, great hangs, great hanging out. It's really going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there. And let me know if you have any questions. Another thing that I did, which was really difficult, and sometimes I had to trick myself into, was raising my prices, right? Early on in my career, I was afraid to be expensive. I was afraid to raise my prices because of fear that people wouldn't hire me. But in hindsight, when I created that exclusivity, when I created that premium-based product, and when my price point aligned with that, the clients who wanted me were not batting an eye, and the clients who weren't going to hire me in the first place were naturally self-qualifying. So it actually was one of the better things that I did for my business that I didn't even realize. And everything that I was afraid of happening, right? I was going to get rid of the tire kickers. Great. It was a value add for my business. But I was also afraid that I was going to turn down a lot of people. And I didn't understand that that was a good thing, right? I can only do so much work and I can only provide for so many clients every single year. So I need to, being that I am low volume, I need to maximize my earnings. I need to ensure that I have the greatest margins. I am really focusing on being a profit-driven contractor rather than a volume-based contractor. And raising my prices really helped do that, because the people who were not okay with my pricing went and found somebody else. And then again, the clients who were hiring me for reasons other than my pricing, it wasn't an issue for. So it was one of the best things that I did for my business. And it really helped weed out those bargain hunters that we are trying to get away from. Realistically, if you are doing better work, if you are offering more, if your quality is better, your systems are better, your process, whatever, if you are offering more, you should be more money than somebody who is not. You should not be offering a better experience at a lower price. So the higher price reflects the quality of work, and helps attract the clients who are willing to invest in that premium based service. Be ready to have to validate your pricing and explain your pricing and highlight the value and the quality and everything that comes along with that price. It's not as though you can raise your price and then it's just like an open checkbook. Hey, who cares? Every client's going to sign you up. You're going to, while you were establishing your brand and your reputation, you're going to have to validate that. You're going to have to substantiate that. Don't shy away from that. Like for me, that provides me so many opportunities to dig into why we're different and what we do differently and why the added budget affords us opportunity to execute things differently and better and more cohesively and more comprehensively, so that the larger line item prices, the larger overall budget is just a segue and a foot in the door to the conversation as to why they're paying more and why that's a good thing and all of the value that we provide through that. um, another thing is to start refocusing your marketing efforts. Get yourself on platforms like Howls, LinkedIn, obviously Instagram, and start marketing both online and offline to your specific client. I spoke about this a few weeks ago on the podcast, but to me, you cannot begin to start generating the leads that you want without understanding how you're marketing to those clients, right? Like you should begin to determine a marketing plan, what you need for your business, what type of business you need to drum up who your ideal client is. All that needs to be determined before you decide what your brand looks like, before you decide how you need to market to your clients, how your brand and your marketing efforts need to align. So this is all wrapped up, and everything plays off of everything else. It builds off of it. It is integrated, but you have to understand how much your brand and how much your client base and how much your business dictates what your marketing is going to look like. You cannot determine the type of leads that you need and how to generate the leads for your business without understanding who, how, and why you're marketing to that client. So begin to spend some time refining and refocusing your marketing tactics. There's a lot of ways that you can do that. Some are more time consuming than others, more complicated than others. Maybe you need to hire somebody to do it, but there's a lot of ways that you can really strengthen your marketing program yourself, and that is both online and offline. There's a lot of ways to do that, to generate more content, to better focus your marketing, to make a more stronger marketing program. There are many ways that you can do that yourself with a little bit of time and some resources and some homework. The last thing that I would say is do not become complacent and continue to refine your process. A lot of clients are hiring us for our process. A lot of our success is defined by our process, and that begins at the marketing stage, at the branding stage, at the vetting stage, at the lead intake stage. Your process is from building your brand, building your funnel, understanding how you want to market yourself and who you're marketing to, and then the lead intake, vetting your clients, and then engaging with clients in hopefully pre-construction, like we explained in our pre-construction course, getting paid for that planning aspect of the build, serving as a consultant for these projects for your potential clients, and creating a revenue stream through that pre-construction. And then into contracting and negotiation and contracting, and then the work contract, and then the follow-up and the post-construction. So refine that process, refine everything from the marketing, the branding, the lead intake, the funnel, all the way to the post-construction process. And do not become complacent, because as soon as you do, that opens the door for your competition to come in and to blow you out of the water, or to start, serving your clients and your customers better than you can. So continue to refine your process. Continue to gauge and inventory what's working for you and what's not working for you, and refine. That's going to keep your finger on the pulse of your business, on the health of your business, and it's going to continue to evolve your business to what's working best for you right now and what you would like to work for the future. And also just what hasn't worked for you, because there is a lot of value in trimming the fat and getting rid of what does not work for you. Um, so those are the 4 things that I would recommend you do: rebrand, raise your prices, refocus your marketing. And there, again, there's a lot of ways that you can do that yourself without a huge budget. That's what I did 10 years ago. And it has been really the foundation for everything within TRG, within the Modern Craftsman podcast, is all because of that. And then refining your process and not resting on your laurels, and being complacent and being okay with where you are. It's constantly inventorying, engaging, and changing. Um, Unfortunately, the misconception within our industry that all contractors are the same is probably not going away anytime soon. Um, Much of the industry, much of my clients, much of who is looking for work, most of just the general public and the population does not distinguish between what you do and what I do. What any of us do. And again, it's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. Everyone has unique traits within their business, unique skill sets, strengths, and weaknesses. And most people are not distinguishing or differentiating between them. They're looking at the price and assuming that everything else is the same, and it's not. So in order to get away from that, in order to prevent the headaches, and ensure that you are serving the ideal client for your business, you can focus on those things that I recently just discussed. And again, I appreciate everyone who's referred me ever. I appreciate, and I continue to hope that people do that. This is not me being ungrateful for this. It just struck me, and really got my wheels turning, that I spend almost every single day communicating and educating clients and just anyone within my network, TRG, Modern Craftsman, that there's more to what we do than price, and the referrals and the leads and the engagement continues to be people who are just really concerned with price. And it got me thinking, like, if I'm out here being this transparent and this deliberate with how I speak to this and what I'm marketing for my business and for the industry as a whole, and I'm still getting that in return, how bad is it for everyone else? And I would assume that it's not great. It's a shame, but I don't think that that's going to change. I think that, this has been a culmination of a lot of years, and generations moving more towards this, and everything else being more expensive, and people looking to cut corners where they can and save where they can. And I don't fault people for this, but I do want you to be able to protect yourself and understand who you're serving and what makes you money. And if these are the type of jobs that make you money and these are ideal for you, then that's amazing. Like, you understand that you're marketing towards these clients, like, jump at this opportunity. But there's a lot of people who aren't, and there's a lot of people who aren't doing a lot of work, who need to make sure their margins are right. And this type of client is not ideal for you. And I know that a lot of my following are people more of myself. They're not putting a ton of work into place. They're, a value-based contract. They are not making money through volume. And this is not the type of lead that is conducive to guaranteeing and really managing better margins. So that's going to wrap up this podcast. Again, I do want to remind you, December 17th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are having our lead generation and marketing workshop, question and answer. Probably be around an hour and a half. You have to pre-register. You can go on either sign up for the email list. You're going to get emails to register. If not, go on the Modern Craftsman pod Instagram. Click on the highlight that says webinar, and you can register there. If you really have trouble, you can shoot me an email, but I think you guys can find a way to do this without sending me an email. In the meantime, if you have any other questions, shoot me an email. I have had a handful of consulting clients recently, and I just want to say thank you again for everyone who signs up for that consulting. If you would like to hop on and dig into your business, dig into my business, learn more about what I do, how I make a living, how I sustain a business, and make the margins that I do while being small, while essentially being a one man band, subcontracting out specific trades, making money on value and margins rather than volume. If you have any questions at all, shoot me an email, Tyler at trghomeconcepts.com. End of the year, you're probably going through numbers. I know that I've sent everything off to my accountant to forecast what I'm looking like as far as year end, to understand what my finances look like and to get a plan for 2025. So this is a great time of year to start reinvesting in the business and having a better understanding of what this year looked like for you and what you can do differently next year to hit the ground running and get off on the right foot. So if you'd like to schedule an hour of my time, shoot me an email, Tyler at trghomeconcepts.com. I appreciate all of my consulting clients this year and prior years, and the return clients. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and it's something that I think you'll find a lot of value in. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email, and if not, hopefully I see you all on the 17th, and I will catch you next week.